Okay, let's start with the software engineering challenges and approach. As earlier only we had discussed all the content regarding the same. Just only an overview I have given by me to all, that what is actually engineering challenges and approaches. So before means going for directly to the content, I will again repeat what my actual challenges are. Challenges are nothing but what we need to do for creating or development our software, and approach is nothing but how I am going to approach toward that software development. That is nothing but these cases we need to get considered while developing our software. And in software engineering, these approaches are having a vital role, that is important role, in order to make our software more compatible and reliable and very much productive, so that the client or any other user can get a best of what he wants or she wants. Okay, now we will discuss one by one what our actual software engineering challenges are. So uh, the first phase of the challenge is nothing but scale. I have given already one example of a census or calculating a person in a room. And similarly, the count is more important while making that content reliable to us. Means that which is the fundamental factor of the software engineering, which is making our system to make that system very different in aspects of both, that is in general as well as for the small system also, as and also for a big system also. But in order to scale, if we want to make that product a large one, I need to go for some changes in my system, and that changes are developed with the help of the team. For calculating a small system, I don't need a team, but for making at a project, at a high level project or at a high configuration, so that time I need a team or a project members in order to get compile that content with my product level or with my software product level. So these contents are similarly categorized to develop the program, and having some few lines of code, which and also the expected work to be done with the help of people are related to their involvement. Means whatever the content they are going to give us, or whatever the development they are going to do, they are having some idea what they want to considered for. Okay, this is my scale rating what I am saying. And when we are dealing with some small project, example I'm going giving that when we are dealing with a small software project, then engineering capability required is low. Means all you need to know is that how to program, then and bit of testing. Means you are capable of doing programming as well as the testing part also you know. But and the project management requirement is also at low cost, means low level. But when the scale change to the large, means if that project goes at a bit longer, then that time you have to solve such problems like essential their direction, then methods, then development, then your normal. When you are going for a normal way, you need to go for the informal way also. Then formal to informal you have to change. And if you want that the line of code of my sub means content of my software should get decreased, so I need to change for my some concepts also. So this will give you the best idea whether the contents are basically clear to that programming team or not. Okay, and similarly I have not given the table how that size of a line of code is defined, but if it is defined, then somewhat the definition will be different. Means whatever the universal accepted concepts are related to, suppose if I am working with the Red Hat or Linux, then my programming size or my line of code size should be at 30,000 lines of code should be there. Means it is mandatory, or it is given by that particular company, that that programming or project should have approximate or minimum up to that lines of code consideration, means that is given the scale. Okay, the next part is I'm giving, wait a minute, I'm just unable to see my own
Ma'am,
display. Yes,
ma'am, your
yes,
voice is breaking.
breaking. Okay, wait, just again I'm changing my concept. Wait. Hmm. Is it now audible? Yes, anybody?
Yes,
Okay. Wait a minute, I'm not able to see my own screen. Wait for a minute. Just wait, I'm just trying to check my own screen. Yeah, okay. Just see the diagrams, both diagrams I have given. Uh, diagrams I have given and shown you the actual part. Is my voice clear to all? Is it audible?
Ma'am, the voice is flickering in
Yes.
between.
Anybody can tell. Uh, okay, wait. I will just again join. Okay. Now is it audible? Clear? Or still there is something?
It's audible now.
Okay. Just in this diagram, I have shown the scale rate, repo rate, that is actual how my management I am going to do. So this is only one of the actual small concept I want to give you regarding how the scale is one of the challenge for my software engineering product development. Now next part of it is the part that is nothing but the quality and productivity. Quality and productivity will let you know. Just wait, my screen is again fluttering. What is problem? Still, yeah, okay. Now it is okay. And just there is something what is informally we want to do, and we need to get for particular part. So I have given one example, that is if you want the order of a magnitude, that said the project is a small, and if it is size is less than 10 KLOC, that is nothing but I'm saying that they are having line of code less than 10,000, then medium, it is medium if the size is less than 100 KLOC, which is more than 10, and it is large if it the line of code is 1 million lines of code, and it may be very large if the size is many millions. So that scale will get changed. Then the next part is quality and productivity. The quality and productivity is nothing but we can say that it in one of the feature of your challenge, that is having practically parameters. It's a bit driven with the practical parameters, major three parameters, that is cost, schedule and quality. While developing a system is the cost of the resources which are used for the system, and which is in the case of a software and depends on cost of developing the software. It depends mainly on manpower. Okay, only the cost of that software is depend on what the manpower is working on it and how much they will get for it. Again, I have given again discussed some software quality attributes with you, functionality, reliability, and again productivity. So these are some functional format which I need to get explained over here. That is, if that productivity will have a repo rate related to the person, then it can capture both the cost and schedule. Means if productivity I want to increase, then the cost is also going to increase, and simultaneously the manpower or the scheduling time is also get increased. So simultaneously these three content, that is cost, schedule and quality, will affect simultaneously. And one of the most part, that cost will ask for the increment or the expensiveness of that software will depend on the manpower. Okay, now I have just given here some functionalities as a figure is just shown here, and a description I have given in the previous slide. As software quality, what I want in that, the attributes are the functionality, it should be very functional, reliable, usable, efficiency should be great, maintenance should be less, and also it should be portable. Okay, so the functionality will deals with, in the scientific language, we can say that the capability to provide function which meet the stated and implied needs when the software is used. Means we can functional the provide the functionality should have content or which can meet the uh, consideration or that client what the client wants. It should get meet with its function. Then reliable is nothing but I need to get its level performance, means the performance, whatever the performance we have, we should get reliable to that capability. Again, it should having understanding will learnable and usable. Usability is deal with your understoodness, again your learning part and your usability. Again, one more part I have not included here, that is you should be able to grasp it easily, rather than don't you have any idea of the programming but still you can manage to handle the software. Then efficiency, then the capability to provide the appropriate performance which is relative to the amount of resources which are used. Efficiency is given with this some concepts of resource whatever I am using should be efficient, so that it can be able to use at any place with any devices. And last one, second last, that is maintenance. We can have some purpose of making this corrections, improvement, adaptation. So maintenance is one of the most important part of this, so that we can upgrade or modify our software. And portability is nothing but I can adapt that different environments with it, and without applying the actions and means other than that of the provided with the project. Whatever the purpose of that project is, I need to get portable with any condition, any environment, in with any devices also. So it should have some such functionality. Then productivity and quality is depending on these attributes, sir. And I have just shown the diagram so you can get an easy idea. While explaining the content, or if you get asked the question, what are the software challenges, or explain it in detail. So please, first of all, explain before explaining, draw the diagram and then explain that, so that the person who is going to check your paper or anything will get an idea that you are knowing the better content with it. So without making such a lengthy process or writing all this content, then he will give a secure continual give you a mark with full attention that you are knowing better than that. Okay. Okay, next part or the next challenge was consistency and repeatability. Consistency, just I have declared that it is how to ensure that successful result can be repeated, and there can be some degree of consistency in quality and productivity. That will be the key challenge of that consistency. And also the consistency is a performance where the important factor for the organization. Whoever is going to allow or build some softwares, then they have some programming factors like that. It is an important for that organization, so that the organization will have some a product with a profit ratio. Okay. And without consistency, even the estimating cost of your project will becomes difficult. If the consistency is not maintained, then the production level as well as the cost of your software will not be able to achieve at that mark. Okay. And repeatability means if the consistency is good, then you can repeat it, products and as well as the software will get changes, will not get any changes in its coding part or programming part or in the development team. Clear? And last, that is change. The change is has a special impact. That is, software is easy to change due to its lack of physical property, but making the changes is harder. And with respect to the expectation, making such changes will make that software to change its all properties. चेंजेस मीन्स काय की जर मला कुठल्या एखाद्या सॉफ्टवेअर दिलेला आहे, म्हणजे सपोज माझ्याकडे एक मोबाईल हॅक करायचा आहे, मला तसं एक सॉफ्टवेअर मी बनवलाय आणि त्याच्यात नंबर घेतला की त्या नंबरच्या पर्सनच्या मोबाईलचा मला डेटा थोडा पाहिजे, असं मला एक सॉफ्टवेअर बनवायचं होतं. बनवलं पण त्याच्यानंतर चेंजेस काहीतरी ड्रास्टिक मलाच करायचे होते, पण मी कुठल्या तरी टीमला बोलून वगैरे करायला लागले. बट दे इफ दे डोंट हॅव एनी आयडिया रिगार्डिंग व्हॉट आय हॅव डन फर्दर, then they are not able to do some changes. And if there is more changes I need to do, then I need to go with all the aspects from before to last. Okay, this is one of the challenge also. Expectations कुणाच्या कधी वाढतील किंवा कमी होतील सॉफ्टवेअर बद्दल ते आपण सांगू शकत नाही. जशा एक्सपेक्टेशन्स वाढतील, म्हणजे कसं इन्स्टावरती आता बरेच जण आहेत, फेसबुक वरती बरेच जण आहेत, म्हणजे आता इन्स्टा सारखं फेसबुक पाहिजे किंवा फेसबुक सारखं थोडे फीचर्स इन्स्टामध्ये पाहिजे. हे ड्रास्टिक चेंजेस नाहीत होणार, ते हळूहळू करतात आणि तुम्हाला मग सांगतात की अपडेट करा. बरोबर आहे. देन सिमिलरली यू नीड टू गेट फॉर द चेंज ऍज द एन्व्हायरमेंट ऑल्सो गेट चेंज. ओके, नाउ दीज वेर द सम challenges. Now we'll go for approach. That is mainly two approaches are there. First one was the phase development process, first approach, and second one is managing these phases. So phase development process काय की जे काय तुम्ही प्रोसेस करता किंवा जे तुम्ही करणार आहात, मीन्स डेव्हलपमेंट प्रोसेस कन्सिस्ट ऑफ व्हेरियस फेजेस. बरेच फेजेस असतात की ज्याच्यात ती डेव्हलपमेंट जाते. म्हणजे पहिल्यांदा कुठलाही एखादा, मी सपोज माझ्या घरी एखादा कार्यक्रम आहे आणि त्या कार्यक्रमासाठी मला पहिले काय करावं लागेल, मला पहिली माणसाची लिस्ट काढावी लागेल, किती जण येणार आहेत, त्याच्यानंतर कोण म्हणजे कुठल्या ठिकाणी, म्हणजे त्यांची जेवणाची व्यवस्था, राहण्याची व्यवस्था, म्हणजे हे सगळं प्लॅनिंग मला करावं लागलं. बरोबर आहे. देन सिमिलरली आय नीड टू गो फॉर सेम प्रोजेक्ट. जेव्हा मी एखादं सॉफ्टवेअर डेव्हलपमेंट करणार आहे, देन सेम रिलेटेड प्रोसेस मला याच्यात द्यायची आहे. त्याच्यासारखी त्यांची प्लॅनिंग करायची आहे, त्याच्यानंतर त्यांची डेव्हलपमेंट करायची आहे, त्याचं मेंटेनन्स मला ठेवायचं आहे. then each various phases are going to develop here in this development process. and या फेज मध्ये बरेच मॉडेल आपल्याला बघायचे आहेत की या फेज मध्ये कोणते कोणते मॉडेल्स येतात. मॉडेल्स इज नथिंग बट की एक सायंटिफिक अप्रोच दिलेला आहे की या मॉडेल्स थ्रू जर तुम्ही डेव्हलपमेंट करत असाल प्रोजेक्ट तर तुम्हाला किती वेळ लागेल, कशी जायची असेल, डेव्हलपमेंट रूल जर तुम्हाला घ्यायचा असेल तर कसं जावं लागेल. देन सिमिलरली या प्रोसेसमध्ये बरेच काहीतरी पार्ट्स आहेत. दॅट इज रिक्वायरमेंट अनालिसिस, सॉफ्टवेअर डिझाईन, कोडिंग, टेस्टिंग. दीज आर सम बेसिक पार्ट्स ऑफ युअर डेव्हलपमेंट प्रोसेस. आणि या बेसिक जे आता मी सांगितलेलं आहे रिक्वायरमेंट अनालिसिस, सॉफ्टवेअर डिझाईन, कोडिंग, टेस्टिंग, तर या ह्याच्यात काय आहे की या सगळ्या फेजेस मध्ये येतात. रिक्वायरमेंट म्हणजे मला काय काय हवंय ह्याचं अनालिसिस मला करावं लागणार. मग मला सॉफ्टवेअर जे डिझाईन करायचं त्याचं आर्किटेक्ट म्हणजे कसं असणार ते बघावं लागणार. म्हणजे युजर कडून सर्व्हर कडे जाणार आहे, सर्व्हर कडून परत युजर कडे डेटा येणार आहे का नाही, हे सगळे डिझायनिंग पार्ट म्हणजे जे डायग्राम्स असतात, युएमएल डायग्राम्स, डीएफडी डायग्राम्स, डेटा फ्लो डायग्राम, हे सगळं. देन कोडिंग मध्ये काय असतं तुमचं की तुम्ही जो कोड पार्ट करणार म्हणजे सोर्स कोड तुमचा. अँड टेस्टिंग मीन्स त्या कोड वरती काही बग एरर येतोय का ते टेस्ट करण्यासाठी बरेचसे टूल्स यूज केले जातात. डिफरंट सेलेनियम टूल्स आहे. म्हणजे सॉफ्टवेअर टेस्टिंग क्वालिटी अश्युरन्स एक सब्जेक्टच आहे तुम्हाला, तर त्यात तुम्हाला कळेल की टेस्टिंग मध्ये अजून काय असतं. आपण इथं बघणार आहेत की टेस्टिंग मध्ये कुठले कुठले टूल्स यूज करता येतात, कसे यूज करायचे असतात ते सुद्धा. ओके, so in short I will just explain what is the requirement analysis. It is done in order to understand the problem of the software system. It is to understand what is the problem of the software system and which can make that requirement fulfill. Means main goal of that requirement activity is to document the requirement in the software form. Whatever the content is in the hardware, so I will convert it into in my software form. And there are major two activities in this phase, that is a problem understanding and requirement specification. In requirement analysis there are two phases actual. First one is your problem understanding and second one is your requirement specification. So what is a problem understanding? We have to understand the problem, context it, and then we need to write down, or you can make it in the soft copy of the requirement list. Okay, and after understanding what is my actual problem in my requirements, then I will get a creative idea. So I will just try to solve that. If I'm not going to use this software, means this format or this OS, then on which OS I need to get that content or that development easily. So this is my problem domain. I will just take it, and then after that I will just try to specify it. Means which how much RAM I need, how much database connect, if there is any database connectivity I need, which software I need to get installed in order to develop that software. So many of these things are and comes under requirement analysis. Then second part, that is software design. So software design is in order to design the phases and is to plan a solution for that problems. Means whatever the requirement you have given, then according to that you need to design for that software. And if that factor will move, means this is the first step from moving the problem domain to solution domain. The software design is nothing but a solution domain where you can analyze, you can get a detailed idea how it will work for. Okay, and also it will focus on identifying the component or the subsystems, and also they can answer or they can consider your connectivity. Connectivity formation is also getting help in your software design. Next part is the coding. Yes, it is once the actually your design is complete, then the most of the major decisions is about to how the system should be made. And many of this coding phase is nothing but it translates the design of the system into the code and in a given programming language. Means जे काही डिझाईन आहे त्या फॉर्मॅट मध्ये मी डिझाईन केल्यानंतर त्याला मला फक्त ट्रान्सलेट करायचं कोडिंग पार्ट मध्ये. म्हणजे ते टॅब येणार कधी, कुठे येणार, त्याच्यानंतर युजर नेम मला पाहिजे असेल तर मी कसं घेणार. And all these things will get ensured or translate in your coding part through the considerable programming language which you are going to use. Okay, then next was testing. Then testing will help you to test that content without having a bug. It is and mostly the testing part will start with the unit testing. Unit testing is nothing but it will test each and every bit of the program. Means one by one byte, yeah, the bit by bit, the testing will be get performed, and where different modules of the computer, means whatever the components are given, are tested, and individual testing of each module is get performed here. Okay, this is all over my approaches I have just given. Now, is any doubt regarding this same, or shall I move further, or shall again I repeat? Anybody? Shall I repeat or will move further? Anyone? Yes? Anybody can tell me?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall
You
I
can
move
proceed.
further, or okay, I will proceed.
Yeah, ma'am.
Next part is my, yeah, thank you. Next part is just now actual process, software process कशाला म्हणतात, तर सॉफ्टवेअर प्रोसेसच्या आधी सेकंड फेज आहे माझी मॅनेजिंग हाऊ आय एम गोइंग टू दिस ऑर वेअर द phases that is requirement analysis, then your software testing, coding, all that contents are just your development process चे part होते. So how I'm going to make that or manage that all processes? So it is given with some plan. Means it is given with some central approach. Means one of the content or one while managing or while making such content or software developing, so there is some leader, and that leader used to plan various things, and that planning get controlled and monitored with the project leaders, and project leader will directly convert to the developing team. Developer team will ask for the this time, again scheduling, then the time span for completing the task. Then again particular people is given for particular management part. That is means one of the people is just for testing part, then one of the is for developing part, then second is just only making sure that everyone is in touch or not, everyone having an idea or not, whether what we have to develop. This all these things are typically with having some planning. So that activity we called it as around the plan. I have given in a red line, that is in a red content, that is what is plan. So a software plan forms the baseline that is heavily used for monitoring, controlling the development process, and which will then this development process of the project use some software, which is software metrics which are used, and metrics are nothing but they are measuring the what you have different characteristics of your system as well as for development process. म्हणजे जे काही तुम्ही यूज करणार आहात ते कसं मोजायचं, किंवा कोणत्या फॉर्मॅटमध्ये त्याला काउंटिंग द्यायचं, किंवा कॅल्क्युलेट कसं करायचं, या वेदर इट इज ग्रोइंग और अपग्रेड downgrading, means upgrading or downgrading. So for that purpose we are using two basic metrics here in development, that is a product metric and process metric. So product metric काय, if products are used to quantify your characteristics of the product which has been developed, that is your software. Okay, त्याच्यावरती मला बघायचं की सॉफ्टवेअर जे मी डेव्हलप करते इट शुड बी वेल डेव्हलप्ड अँड वेल गिवन. And lastly, your process matrix will have only used to develop the software. It is not related to directly to the software, but whatever the content I need, whatever the processes I need, they are developing in the right way or not, just only that metric. Okay, but regarding the product matrix, process matrix having major role, because all the content, all the formation are deals with your process matrix. Clear? Now the next part is what are the basic software processes we have. So whatever the basic softwares we have are just part of your development, and I will show you the tree diagram of that how my process will get executed. Okay, so this is my actual chart that how my software process is working. Means there are two kinds, that is product engineering process and process management process. Just we had given product metric and process metric. So both these are working with your software process. This is the fourth point of this chapter. That is software process having two major content, that is a product and process, and whether the product is again having differentiate or categorized in three form, that is development, project management, and software configuration management. So it is a material, it is a combination of technical as well as manager the issues of the development. Product is again having all this combination, while process will ask for your technical and managing part also, because in process we need to go for again distribution. Here in the diagram we had given this development, project management, software under project engineering process, but it is also considered as not a metric but is a process. Okay. Then process management we have given it as a development activities as well as project management activities, where the content or the component will process for each at certain activity, which at each phase I will move further for my processing. Okay, for my process. This is only just a basic idea what is software process. So we need to go for a basic in deep what is actual the software process is. Yes, the software process includes some concept, that is for processes and process model. So there are some process model which will execute some project in a particular manner, and that project will have some specification which is defined with some task and should perform in order to which they are going to be done. It is depend on that team which process model they are going to utilize. Okay, means we are calling that process model as a software life cycle model, because my software is going with these life. मीन्स जसं आपलं जनरेशन आहे, मीन्स आपण पहिले लहान, त्याच्यानंतर थोडी यंग एज मीन्स चाइल्डिश, देन यंगेस्ट मीन्स एक मिडल एज येते. आफ्टर दॅट वी आर गेटिंग ओल्ड. दिस इज अवर लाईफ सायकल. सिमिलरली सॉफ्टवेअरची पण एक लाईफ सायकल आहे, डेव्हलपमेंट लाईफ सायकल म्हणतो आपण त्याला, की कुठल्या फेज मधून ती फर्स्ट टू लास्ट जाणार आहे आणि तीच रिपीट राहणार आहे. जेव्हा जेव्हा ते अपडेट होणार त्या वेळेस पण ते रिपीट होणार. सिमिलरली इथे सॉफ्टवेअर मॉडेल कन्सेप्ट मध्ये बरेच काही इव्हॅल्युएशन्स आहेत की ती प्रोजेक्ट प्रोसेस कसली असेल, त्यानंतर कोणते कॉम्पोनंट त्या प्रोसेस मध्ये असते, अँड ऍट लास्ट ETVX अप्रोच. मीन्स त्याच्यात काय म्हणते, ETVX इज नथिंग बट एंट्री क्रायटेरिया, टास्क, व्हॅलिडेशन, व्हेरिफिकेशन अँड एक्झिट क्रायटेरिया. एंट्री, टास्क, व्हेरिफिकेशन अँड युअर एक्झिट. तर एंट्री क्रायटेरिया काय की it is a phase which will specify the condition that the input to the phase should satisfy to initiate the activity of that phase. Means whatever the content I am going to use, means as an input I am going to give that for that phase should satisfy the initiation. Should satisfy the initial. The diagram itself shows you the actual working. So how I am going to give the input, then how I am going to receive the means after making or after giving the inputs, the task is given to each people. Means each member is given the task. Means task is nothing but who is going to develop the code, who is going to test that code, each and every content. Then lastly validation, means verification and validation. V and V is nothing but verification and validation. Validation means I am going that validity. आपण कशाची पण वॉरंटी गॅरंटी देतो, तसंच त्याची व्हॅलिडिटी कधीपर्यंत असेल हे पण सांगायचं असतं. आणि व्हेरिफिकेशन म्हणजे ते व्हेरीफाईड झालेलं आहे, प्रॉपरली ते वर्क करतंय हे व्हेरीफाय करायचं काम पण एका टीमचं असतं. दॅट विल गिव्ह बाय व्हेरिफिकेशन टीम. अँड लास्टली द एक्झिट क्रायटेरिया इज नथिंग बट डिप्लॉयमेंट. डिप्लॉयमेंट इज नथिंग बट आय एम गिव्हिंग माय सॉफ्टवेअर और माय प्रोडक्ट टू द कस्टमर or to the client. Okay, and this is given with this process model. The process model, okay, once again I repeat, process model includes product and process management. So product is again get developed with three categories, that is development process, project management, software configuration management, where each process having some certain consistency, means consist of certain activity, and at each level each processes will get verified. Okay, and then this process are again having some following rules and the concepts in which the processes and process models, which model we are going to use, then the components means the costing, again scheduling, quality, and other objectives are given here. And in the last, that is ETVX approach, where the entry criteria as well as task verification exit criteria will be get handled. Okay, this is all my software process. Again, now these software processes are deals with some uh, characteristic, means what will be the characteristics of these software processes, means त्यांचे फीचर्स काय असतील की जर मी डेव्हलपमेंट करायला उतरले कुठल्याही एका सॉफ्टवेअरला, सो त्याचे फीचर्स पण असायला पाहिजे की कशा कसं मला त्याचे एक गुड क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट मला बनवताना मला हे फीचर्स त्याच्यात पाहिजे. सो व्हॉट विल बी द फीचर्स. सो कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स आहेत त्या सॉफ्टवेअर प्रोसेसच्या की फर्स्ट वर्ड इज प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी, मीन्स व्हॉट यू कॅन प्रेडिक्ट. And predictable is nothing but it is not limited. It can be anyone can anything can be predicted, means it is a future form. Okay, next characteristic is a support, stability and maintainability. So maintainability is nothing but it is a global format which can be locally optimized with the help of your development team. And testability means should be supported to all the tests. Okay, next characteristic was early defect removal and defect prevention. Defect removal early, sorry, spelling mistake is there. It is early defect removal, and defect prevention means you have to remove all the bugs before you are going to deploy that content. And that should be and I have given just a specification, small specification. If there is an error in the requirement, then the design and the code will be affected. So in order to make that, don't make that correct, you have to correct your error, and after the coding done, and we have to require for both the design as well for the code, which can be changed after increasing your cost. Okay, सायमल्टेनियसली इथे सगळीकडे मी कॉस्ट का सांगितलेला आहे, बिकॉज जेव्हा जेव्हा तुम्ही काही चेंजेस करणार आहात त्याची कॉस्ट तुम्हाला द्यावी लागणार आहे. ज्या वेळेस तुम्हाला कुठलेही डिफेक्ट किंवा डिटेक्ट काही झालेलं असेल तर तुम्हाला ते रिमूव्ह करताना प्रत्येक वेळेस, काही वेळेस नाही पण बऱ्याच वेळा तुम्हाला त्याच्यासाठी परचेसिंग किंवा तुम्हाला स्वतःला तुमचा कॉस्ट इज नथिंग बट नॉट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ मनी, बट यू हॅव टू युटिलाइज युअर टाइम ऑल्सो. म्हणजे फक्त कॉस्ट म्हणजे पैसेच असं नाही, यू हॅव टू गिव्ह your time again, you have to repeat, you have to sit again for a number of periods, and then you have to check for your code, and all these things are get in touch. So it is making that it is costing that much. Next characteristic, changeable, that is already we had discussed, means it should be change according to the environment. And last one, that is a process improvement and feedback. Yeah, whatever the consideration or given any asking questions by the customer, then management, that is a process management, will work on it. It will improve its content and will ask for the feedback whether they had satisfied your content or not. आता इथे पण बघा, आता गुगल मीट वर तुम्ही आपण मीटिंग घेतोय, बट ऍट लास्ट when we close that meeting or something, so it will ask me, means who is the actual hosting, will get a question regarding whether it is having a good quality of voice or not, whether the video is properly working or not, if you are visible to all or not. Means they are asking again and again about feedback. Okay, and similarly here also the process having this characteristic in it, that is improvement should be done as well as the feedback should be given. Again, revisable is also one of the characteristic I have not mentioned here. But revisable is nothing but I need to get revised again and again with my software. Revision is important because if you are not revising that content component, then you will not get the actual content, how it is making some changes itself or not. Suppose कधी कधी बग्स आले अचानक, तर त्याच्यात मग तुम्ही चेंजेस केलेत का नाही ते तुम्हाला कळणार कसे. जर तुम्ही रिवाइज करत नसाल ते सॉफ्टवेअरला, तर त्याचमुळे हे एक कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक आहे त्याच्यात. बट तो these are actually these 5 are main, and revisable is again one of the characteristics of your software process. Clear? Now we'll go for a next point, that is my development model. So development model मध्ये सॉफ्टवेअर डेव्हलपमेंट प्रोसेस मॉडेल्स आहेत. तर या सॉफ्टवेअर डायरेक्टली फोकस काय करतात तुमच्या प्रोडक्शन साठी, आणि ते प्रोडक्शन कशा एक्झाम्पल्स मध्ये असते, तुमचं डिझाईन, कॉस्टिंग, टेस्टिंग, कोडिंग, टेस्टिंग वगैरे पार्ट. And it will ask you the sequence of steps which will discuss you what the discussion will go for and what the actual process is. These all contents are get defined in your software process. And whether when you are saying that this process is getting developed, so you should know the actual format, why it is saying that this development process is getting in an increasing, in an upward manner or in a downward manner. So that software development process model should have some what we can say, that should have some legal approach or legal format. म्हणजे आपण म्हणतो ना की एक प्रॉपर डायरेक्शन पाहिजे की कुठे जायचं. आपण कधी कुठल्याही गावाला जायचं असेल तर गुगल मॅप वरती आपण डिफाईन करतो की इकडे इकडे जायचं आहे. सपोज मला इथून मुंबईला जायचं असेल तर मी मुंबईचा पाथ मला माहित नाही की रस्ता कुठून कसा जायचा, हायवे वरून मी गुगल मॅप लावते आणि डायरेक्शन चेक करत जाते. आणि सिमिलरली या डेव्हलपमेंट प्रोसेस साठी काही पर्टिक्युलर मॉडेल्स दिलेले आहेत की हे जर मी ते यूज करत असेल तर मला याच फेज मध्ये तिकडे जावं लागेल. देन अँड देन ओनली आय विल गेट माय goal. Okay, then in which will have some basic ideas also. Some models have been proposed with some, we can say that, with the form of core ideas. So first two software development process models are waterfall model and prototype model. And after that there are iterative models, development model also. So iterative मध्ये काय की काउंटिंग होतं, आणि सॉफ्टवेअर डेव्हलपमेंट मध्ये काउंटिंग हा पार्ट नाहीये. दे कॅन शफल देमसेल्फ विद इन एनी टाइम. बट इटरेटिव्ह डेव्हलपमेंट मॉडेल मध्ये काय की हे 5 मॉडेल्स त्याच्यात आपल्याला बघायचे: इन्क्रिमेंटल, स्पायरल, रॅशनल, टाइम बॉक्सिंग, अगिले प्रोसेस. सो इन प्रोसेस मॉडेल दीज 2 आर इन डिफरंट फॉर्म. मॉडेल्सच आहेत, सॉफ्टवेअरचेच आहेत, but they are having some specification different. Iterative model will work on the previous process model मध्ये जे काय फॉल्ट्स असतील त्याच्यावर रिकव्हरी करून आणलेले हे सगळे मॉडेल. बट आता जे प्रिव्हियस वन वर्किंग मध्ये आहेत होते आणि ज्याच्या बरेच सॉफ्टवेअर ड्रॉ केले, तर ते कोणते मॉडेल्स होते, तर हे 2 होते: वॉटरफॉल मॉडेल अँड प्रोटोटाइप मॉडेल. तर वॉटरफॉल मॉडेल बाय नेम यू कॅन consider that we are having just like waterfall, means from up to down. It is means water is running from up to down. Then similarly the process is also like that, from up to down we need to go, means it is a top to bottom approach. Okay. And second one, prototype model, is nothing but it is just making some whatever the limitations in your waterfall model, it is get discussed in prototype model, with some limitations are covered with in prototype. Okay. So what is waterfall model? In short, in specific manner I have just given, that is, it is simple process model and which states that the phases are organized in a linear order, means it is already given in a linear form. Then originally it will have some what we can say, that it was I have proposed, this model was actually proposed by Royce, a scientist, though the variation of the model have evolved depending on the nature of the activities and the flow of control between them. There are some variations in the activities also, but still it is managed to control all the process. And here in this model, a project begins with feasibility analysis. Upon the successful demonstrating the feasibility of the project, the requirement analysis and project planning begins. Means after, as the feasibility gets checked and completely, then it will further move to requirement analysis and then the project planning. These both will get begin. Then the design starts and the requirement analysis complete. the coding begins. After the completion of your designing part, requirement analysis, after completing its task, then the coding will start. And coding, after the coding, once the program is complete, the code is integrated and tested. Means after the coding, it is the programs are compiled, means integrated with each other, means all the part is combined again and they are tested. And upon the successful completion of the testing, the system is installed, means the software is installed. And after this, the regular operation of maintenance of the system takes place. And after whole operation, whatever it gets, means feasibility analysis, then your requirement analysis get checked, then your project planning is checked. And after project planning, the design part start. In the design parts, after designing, the code part will get executed. And after the code gets completed, the programming is completed, it will get integrated and tested. And upon testing, successful testing, the software get installed, and the installed software will be checked for the regular operation, and maintenance of the system will take place. Means suppose sometime आपल्या सिस्टम मध्ये सपोज मी ऍडोबे टाकला, तर ऍडोबेचे काही फीचर्स परमिशन मागतात माझ्या सिस्टमला, बरोबर आहे. मी वर्क करू का नको, किंवा अँटीव्हायरस असेल माझा, अँटीव्हायरस पण सांगते की दिस न्यू सॉफ्टवेअर हॅज बीन इन्स्टॉल्ड, if you want to make it work in a proper manner or not, you can deny it or you can ask later वगैरे वगैरे. So similarly, maintenance or regular operation will check. And this is my actual waterfall model. Waterfall model ची डायग्राम इथे शो केली आहे मी, की सिस्टम विजिबिलिटी it is going in a linear manner. It is completely actually horizontal होता, पण आता ते जागा नसल्यामुळे ते डायरेक्टली zigzag केलेलं आहे मी. But one by one, only each process will get executed. You can see that actually, is it visible? May I know? Anybody? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then the system feasibility will check with some reports. Validation will be get checked. Then requirement analysis and project planning will get performed. Means validation is mandatory. Validation काय असतं की त्याची व्हॅलिडिटी चेक करतं, whether it is feasible or not. जर फिजिबल असेल त्याचा रिपोर्ट, एक डॉक्युमेंटेशन प्रिपेअर करतं. हे सगळं जे काही मी डायग्राम मध्ये दाखवलं त्याचे डॉक्युमेंटेशन पण प्रिपेअर होतं सायमल्टेनियसली. whenever whatever the project has been started, who had started, who is the guide, who is going to design the part, who is going to develop the part, then who is going to test the part, then where is the risk more, when the scheduling content should be there, when should we need to provide some seminar regarding, or we need to gather for that presentation. Then all these documentations are kept in a report form, or you can say that in a documentation form. Okay, so I have just given one by one in the feature itself the content, what we are going to perform or what we are going to have. Okay, the system feasibility will get its feasibleness with requirement analysis and project planning. Then after completing your requirement analysis, then the documentation will get ready and it will get planned. Okay, then that system design will start its work. Means system, how that system will work, what parts I need on my software. Means फ्रंट पेज डॅशबोर्ड जो असतो त्याच्यावरती मला काय काय पाहिजे. म्हणजे एक सपोज एक्झाम्पल घ्या, एखादी वेबसाईट मला आता COVID-19 ची करायची, की मला एखाद्या पेशंटची इन्फॉर्मेशन मला डिस्प्ले करायची, पण इन्फॉर्मेशन मला कधी डिस्प्ले करणार, ज्यावेळेस तो लॉग इन असणार, बरोबर आहे. then that design is nothing but I need to create first page, that is my login page. Means if he is not if he is a new user, then I need to ask for a registration page. then similarly system design काय करणार आहे की जे तुम्हाला डिझाइन पार्ट पाहिजे किंवा तुम्हाला कसं पाहिजे त्या फॉर्मॅट मध्ये ते तुम्ही डिझाइन करणार, डॉक्युमेंट करणार, ते व्हेरीफाय होणार की हा बाबा इट इज फिजिबल ऑर नॉट. म्हणजे याच्यात कोडिंग करत असताना मला काय एरर येणार का, इट विल बी चेक. then after that system design, detailed design is completed. means rough design is then completed into detailed design. असं नाही की डिझाइन जे पहिलं केलेलं तेच लास्ट पर्यंत राहतं, असं नाही, त्याच्यात पण बरेच चेंजेस होतात. then after detailed design means verification, then the designing part completed and simultaneously the coding will start. जे काही डिझाईन आहे त्यासारखी मला कोडिंग करायची असेल, बरोबर आहे. कोडिंग व्हेरीफाईड होणार. इट इज नथिंग बट इट इज अ प्रोग्रामिंग पार्ट. whole sole programming part will get checked with engineers, means who are having a good knowledge or very core in that field. So coding त्यांच्याकडून टेस्ट केली जाईल. आफ्टर टेस्टिंग द कोड पार्ट इट विल गेट इंटिग्रेटेड. मीन्स काय करतात की कोड असं नसतो की लाईन्स 1000 लाईन्स ऑफ कोड एकाच माणसाला देतात, असं नसतं. छोटे छोटे पार्ट देतात, छोटे छोटे कोडिंग लाईन्स देतात. तुम्हाला हे डेव्हलप करायचंय आणि ते फक्त तुम्ही काय करता, परत मर्ज करता. मर्ज केल्यानंतर म्हणजे इंटिग्रेशन केल्यानंतर आफ्टर integrating that part will get complied in a test report and which will get installed in the system. म्हणजे तुमच्यात डायरेक्टली इन्स्टॉल होत नाही, तर जे त्यांना जिथं पाहिजे ते सॉफ्टवेअर इन्स्टॉल करून घ्यायला ते तिथे इन्स्टॉल करतात. आफ्टर द इन्स्टॉलेशन इट विल गो फॉर द ऑपरेशन ऑफ मेंटेनन्स. मीन्स काय काय सिस्टम मागत आहे त्याला की हे इन्स्टॉल करण्यासाठी मला काय काय पाहिजे, बरोबर आहे. सपोज ती 4 GB वरती इन्स्टॉल होणार असेल, त्याला रॅम तेवढी लागत असेल, देन and that system is having only 2 GB, then that system should tell him that that software is not running because the configurations are not matching. So similarly the operations installation and its report again generated regarding what the specification that software need. Okay, this is my process of waterfall model. That is from top to bottom I am going approach, and it is one way, okay, not two way. It is one way, and that is, you can say that it is a linear approach. Clear? Yes, but आता हे linear होतं, but still linear. Yes,
Sorry for interruption,
yeah,
but I have doubt
okay, tell me.
regarding to waterfall model. Okay,
Hmm.
Means we are moving to requirement phase to like means analysis phase, then our coding phase, testing phase, and deployment phase. So
Yeah.
like it seems like difficult now. If we are in coding phase, then we are know like in the bugs in our code, means in bugs in our program due to
Yeah.
the requirement are mismatch. So we can't backtrack to means we can't
This
backtrack
is
by using that
backtrack
model.
with by using this model. So this is only
is
the
not
drawback
possible.
of this model. This is
Okay.
only the drawback of this model.
Then ma'am, verification means like we are using testing to verify the units particular model.
Yeah.
In the verification phase, in the verification phase we are only applying the testing,
They are not directly implementing the coding to the means we are not directly complying that that code is correct. I'm not directly saying that that code is correct, and if that code is not getting matched with the detail, means whatever the design architecture ने जो काही डिझाईन दिला असेल तर तो कोड होईलच असं नाहीये, बरोबर आहे. कोडिंग वाला काय म्हणेल की आय हॅव सम चेंजेस इन युअर डिझाईन. ओके, दिस फेज विल गेट इंटरप्ट, मीन्स कोलॅप्स होईल ना ही फेज जी आहे तुमची डिटेल डिझाईन अँड कोडिंगची, बरोबर आहे. So after the whatever the detailed design is given, it will get checked with your coding part. This coding वाला person पण काय करणार की तुमचं व्हेरिफिकेशन करणार पहिले, आणि हेच आहे की आपण बॅकट्रॅक नाही जाऊ शकत याला, या मॉडेलला आपण बॅकट्रॅक नाही जाऊ शकत. त्याच्यामुळे हा मॉडेलचा हा पहिला ड्रॉबॅक आहे. ओके, आपण अप्रोच बघणारच होतो की वॉटरफॉल मॉडेलचे अप्रोच म्हणजे बरेचसे लिमिटेशन्स आहेत या मॉडेलमध्ये. त्यामुळे हा मॉडेल मोस्टली कोणी यूज करत नाही. लक्षात येत आहे?
Okay ma'am, thank you.
Okay, so coding, if there is some changes in the coding, I can't go again for change in the detailed design. Again I need to go for system design, and the system will ask again the requirement should get changed, so I can't move backtrack. So that is nothing but there is some problems in my approach. As it is straightforward, so produced only in a single form. Clear? The fundamental problem of this approach that it is a pushes risk forward in the time where it costly to undo the mistakes. I can't make it is control Z नाही आहे इथं. लक्षात येतंय? Yes? ज्यांचा डाऊट होता कळलं त्यांना?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
okay.
clear.
So then it is not, it is having only if the mistake is from earlier part or earlier phase, I can't change it in the last phase or in middle phase. Okay. And initial design will be likely that flawed with respect to its key requirement and more. And also it will tends to cover the real risk to the project until it's too late. So खूप लेट झाल्यानंतर परत चेंज करायचं, मग त्यावेळेस तोपर्यंत काय होतं, टाइम पण निघून जातो आणि त्याचबरोबर तुम्ही तुमच्याकडे जे काही टीम मेंबर्स आहेत, मेंटॅलिटी म्हणतो आपण, काम करायची एक मेंटॅलिटी, इट विल गेट कोलॅप्स. सो हियर assumptions, advantages, then concepts and diagrams, and lastly disadvantage. Lastly, disadvantage will work. If it is not getting work, it should be in a reverse manner also, so that I can whatever the assumption I am going to do, it should also having some proper or real practical form. It is not only just a virtual form. So here this model makes some drawbacks, as it is straightforward. I can't change it in the middle. I need to go at last. Again, I need to further move forward. For that purpose, a prototype model get introduced. Okay. Then what is prototype model? Then prototype model, it is developed in order to counter first limitation of your waterfall model. So first idea, that is, instead of freezing the requirement before any design or coding can proceed, a throwaway prototype is built. Means a simple, a big, a rough work I can do for creating my any idea regarding my software. Rather than जिथं फ्रीज व्हायचंय त्या फ्रीज पॉइंटला नसण्यापेक्षा मी काय करणार, आता एक प्लॅन करणार, एक सिंपल एक रफ प्लॅन करणार की ते कुणाच्या आधी असेल, तुमच्या डिझाईन कोडिंगच्या आधी प्रोसीड होईल आणि त्याच मध्ये मला परत एकदा रिपीट करता येईल. मीन्स यू कॅन सी दिस इन द डायग्राम की रिक्वायरमेंट अनालिसिस मध्येच मी काय करणार आहे, डिझाईन कोड अँड टेस्ट. या अनालिसिस मध्येच मी काय सांगणार आहे की टीमला मला तुमची रिक्वायरमेंट, त्यानुसारच तुमचं डिझाईन, त्यानुसारच तुमचं कोड आणि त्यानुसारच तुमची टेस्टिंग होणार. अँड देन आय विल गो फॉर ऍक्च्युअल डिझाईन, देन फॉर कोड अँड देन फॉर टेस्ट. क्लिअर? Requirement analysis part only considering all these fundamentals. Means instead of making such different perspectives of waterfall model, I am asking my requirement analysis in order to go for system as well as coding and as well as testing. Means this part will go for all these three first one, and if it is feasible for it, then only it will ask for my installation or testing last. But again, if my system will ask for making a demo or a particular content should get shown, so again the content which I have or which I have with me, I will again define with my designing part. That designing will go for code part and code will go for test part. Means इथे काय प्रॉब्लेम नाहीये, इथे असं लिनियर मध्ये पण आहे, लिनियरच फॉर्मॅट आहे, स्ट्रेटच फॉरवर्ड आहे. बट इथे असं नाहीये की मी मागे येऊ शकत. आय कॅन, बिकॉज माय रिक्वायरमेंट अनालिसिस can ask me, I can change my content, I can change my design, I can change the code, I can change the testing tools also. So it is handled all these two limitations. म्हणजे इथेच त्यांनी त्याचं जे काही लिमिटेशन्स आहेत वॉटरफॉल मॉडेलचे ते तुम्ही प्रोटोटाइप मध्ये त्यांनी कन्सिडर केले, म्हणजे काढून टाकलेत. So that development of the prototype will undergoes design, coding and testing. But each of these phases will not done very formally or thoroughly. Means that जर मी या कोडिंग टेस्टिंग आणि डिझायनिंग पार्ट मध्ये जाणार असेल तर ते फायनल नसणार. I can again change my content, I can change and interact with the again the part of the design. Again I can, if the design is not correct I feel, then I can change my code. Again if the coding part I feel that it is very large, I can compress it according to the design format also. So without accessing, suppose एकाच स्क्रीन वरती मला अपडेट आणि डिलीट बटन्स पाहिजे असतील तर सेपरेट सेपरेट पेस्ट करायची काय गरज आहे, मी त्याच ह्याच्यावरती परत 2 बटन्स लावेन. ओके, सिमिलरली आणि कोड काय करेन, मर्ज करेन की त्याच पेज वरती तोच डेटाबेस फक्त अपडेट आणि डिलीटचे वर्ड्स यूज करून डिफरंटली शो करेल. तर त्याच्यासाठी मला सेपरेट कोड करायची गरज नाही, तिथेच मी चेंज करणार माझ्याकडे क्लासेस घेऊन. ओके, this prototype will get actual, means it will make feel the client about the system, and so that the interaction will be possible of the client. If I want, and it can be understand, means better understand the requirement of the client, and he can also understand what type of system he is going to deliver. ओके, म्हणजे क्लायंटला काय पाहिजे हे त्या क्लायंटला पण दिसेल, कळेल, आणि त्याला जे काय पाहिजे आहे आणि त्यालाही जर काय आयडिया नसेल की कसं दिसेल तर त्याला ते रफ वरती पण वर्क करून दाखवू शकतात या मॉडेलवर. ओके, सो जस्ट आय हॅव गिवन हिअर one part of requirement analysis where I have given some content regarding my prototype model. So if you have content means regarding the prototype model, it will work thoroughly, that is having some requirements before going to directly to the design, coding and testing part. And also it is an attractive for complicated and large system, means I can use this model for most complicated large system which for which there is no manual process or existing system to help them determine their requirement. And if there is some situation, means the client can play with this demo part, means त्याला जे काय पाहिजे तर आपण दाखवलं तर तो त्याच्याबरोबर इंटरॅक्ट करू शकतो आणि तो सांगू शकतो की हा मला असं या फॉर्मॅट मध्ये पाहिजे. डमी म्हणतो आपण, एक डमी फॉर्म त्याला दिला जातो, त्याच्यात तो वर्क करतो आणि त्याला जे काही वाटतं ते त्याला तो तुमच्या डेव्हलपर टीमला सांगू शकतो या मॉडेलमध्ये. अँड डेव्हलपमेंट प्रोसेस कॅन बी proceed as from start to end, and which can make that content, or at each stage it is understandable and reasonable for the system also, and its needs can be cleared with the client. And also as based on their experience they can change, they can provide the feedback to the developers also, which can means what is correct, what need to be modified, what is missing, what is not needed. So all these things can be considered by the client, and can the client can directly ask to the developer team to make some changes according to that questions. And the judgment cannot be passed, means directly judgment देत नाहीत की हा चुकीचा आहे किंवा काही नाही, पण इथं डायरेक्टली जजमेंट असं नाही ना, पण डायरेक्टली जजमेंट द्यायच्या आधी ते लोक त्यांच्या रिक्वायरमेंट नुसार ते बदल करून घेऊ शकतात. ओके, and basically the most important part of this requirement analysis is feasible, and with its cost also, and also it is not expensive because they are trying in this phase itself, and after trying and interacting with the client in this phase, then and then only they go for the actual part, so that the consideration, expenses, again costing, again installing into the system, then requirements of their part will not get changed here. So cost is also kept low. Yeah, and it is but this model is not used further because sometimes client can make misuse of it. So this is one of the actual I'm not saying the advantage or disadvantage, but it may have. So some advantages of this model will have user are actively involved. Yes, I just said you errors can be detected much earlier. Then quicker user feedback is available, so for reading your better solution. And missing functionality can be identified easily. Confusing or difficult functions can be identified, means what the client will get confused on, which part will get identified also. Then requirement validation, then quick implementation, incomplete but functional, these all applied to the prototype model. Clear? And but there are some, as advantages are there, some disadvantages are there also, that it will lead to implementing and then repairing way of building system. There is sometime repairing concept is here. So sometime it is not possible to repair whole the content. Then incomplete application may cause the application not to be used as the full system was designed. That is, if that application will be in a running process and the client will have some corrections or any what we can say, any suggestions to that particular development team. So if they are not easy going to resolve that, is suppose असं काही त्यांनी चेंजेस सांगितले की ते होऊ शकत नाही, त्या टाइमला मग सगळं सिस्टम कोलॅप्स होतं, त्या डिझाईनला काहीच अर्थ राहत, मग सगळं थोडक्यात असं जाऊ शकतं. आणि इनकम्प्लीट और एडिटेड प्रॉब्लेम्स एनालिसिस is done here. Sometimes clients are also misleading that, and they can म्हणजे आपण म्हणू शकतो की चोरून घेऊन दुसऱ्या ह्याला पण देऊ शकतात की त्यांच्या ओळखीच्या ह्याला, आणि परत ते चेंजेस करून स्वतः घेऊ शकतात. तर इथे थोडासा तो एक ड्रॉबॅक आहे, डिसएडव्हान्टेज आहे की या मॉडेलचा. बट ऍडव्हान्टेजेस जास्त आहेत ऍज कम्पेअर टू युअर waterfall model. Okay, now next part is your we are going to stop here itself, but just overview देते की iterative development model मध्ये काय की iterative model मध्ये बऱ्याच आता येतं प्रोटोटाइप मध्ये 2 लिमिटेशन्स होत्या, इटरेटिव्ह मध्ये त्यांनी 3 लिमिटेशन्स काढलेले आहेत वॉटरफॉल मॉडेलच्या, अँड विल ट्रायज टू कंबाईन द बेनिफिट ऑफ बोथ द प्रोटोटाइपिंग अँड द वॉटरफॉल मॉडेल. आणि त्या दोघांचं कॉम्बिनेशन करून त्यांनी हे मॉडेल बनवलेलं. तर त्या दोघांच्या कॉम्बिनेशन मध्ये बरेच ऍडव्हान्टेजेस पण आहेत की दॅट इट कॅन रिझल्ट इन अ बेटर टेस्टिंग, अँड टेस्टिंग ईच इन्क्रीमेंट इज लाईक टू बी इझियर दॅन टेस्टिंग द एंटायर सिस्टम. मीन्स एका फेज मध्ये टेस्टिंग करणं हे इझी पडतं रादर दॅन टेस्टिंग ऑल द कंटेंट ऍट लास्ट. जसं की वॉटरफॉल मध्ये लास्टला टेस्टिंग करत होतो, तर तसं न करता ते काय करतात की 1 by 1 ऍट ईच फेज, मीन्स इथं डिझाईन, इम्प्लिमेंट, अनालिसिस, प्रत्येक फेज मध्ये टेस्टिंग आहे. डिझाईन, इम्प्लिमेंट, अनालिसिस केलं की त्याची टेस्टिंग, परत डिझाईन, इम्प्लिमेंट, अनालिसिस केलं की त्याची टेस्टिंग, म्हणजे 1 पार्ट 1 मॉड्यूल म्हणू शकतो. तर तसं इथं टेस्टिंग होतं आणि इटरेटिव्ह फॉर्म आहे, म्हणजे काउंटिंग होतं. मग इथे मी डिफाईन केलंय बघा डिझायनिंग मध्ये, म्हणजे इथे एक डायग्राम दाखवली, त्याच्यात एन डिफाईन केलेलं आहे. दॅट इज एन इज नथिंग बट नंबर ऑफ इटरेशन्स इट परफॉर्म. ओके, देयर आर सम मॉडेल्स here we are going through, that is incremental model, spiral model, rational model, then rational unified process model, time boxing model, and agile process model. So these incremental model is nothing but it is incrementing in a further format. Then spiral model will work for some it is similar to the spirals, means jalebi जशी असते तसं spiral. Then it will म्हणजे from a center to last काय असणार फेज मध्ये. So it is considering each and every analysis. means spiral मध्ये बरेच analysis आहेत, म्हणजे कसले analysis आहेत तर design analysis आहे, then implementation analysis आहे, risk analysis आहे, and your cumulative interaction with the client is also in the spiral model. Rational unified process model is RUP means RUPM म्हणतात त्या, म्हणजे इन शॉर्ट फॉर्म. रॅशनल युनिफाईड प्रोसेस मध्ये त्या प्रोसेस इटरेशन घेत घेत रॅशनली प्रोपोर्शनल असतात, असे काही मॉडेल्स आहेत. मग त्याचे थोडे डायग्राम्स पण डिफरंट आहेत, आणि डायग्रामॅटिकली यू कॅन अंडरस्टँड, बट वी आर गोइंग टू टेक इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन. Then time boxing model and agile process model, these are depends on your timing forms, means the speed and development as well as with parallelism between different iterations can be employed in time boxing model. As each time box again it divided into some stages, like म्हणजे वॉटरफॉल मॉडेल मध्ये जसे आहेत तसेच टाइम बॉक्स मध्ये पण सगळे मॉडेल डिफाईन केलेले आहेत, डिवाइड केलेले आहेत, अँड क्लिअरली प्रत्येक डिवाइड केलेल्या मॉडेलला काहीतरी टास्क दिले आणि त्यांना एक टाइम दिलेला आहे. तर तसे टाइम बॉक्सिंग मॉडेल आहे. अँड अगिले प्रोसेस मॉडेल इज नथिंग बट इट इज डिफाईन विथ सम प्रोफॉर्मा having related to what we can say, that is how I am going to build that content, again its uh, phase, again its priorities, again it's somewhat, it is the fifth one, that is again a process model is somewhat different than incremental, because these four are having same phases and some of the same features also, but agile is somewhat different and having some advanced features in uh, from the above all these four. Okay, so we'll stop here. And if anybody having doubt up to this, means before the iterative development wallet, you can ask me, or I will stop my session here. I will not take more time. Yes, anybody? Because today we had completed our uh, challenges and approach. Again, then characteristic. Again, that process. And after completing the process, we had gone through models and models. After that model, in model we had the scene two model, that is waterfall model and your prototype model. The waterfall model is the linear state wave model and having some we can't say some, but more drawbacks. And for that purpose, in order to overcome that, we gone through prototype model. Again, these were the software development process model. And the second part of that model format, that is iterative models, we just only discussed. We will describe it in the next session, in the where we can say that that session will be regarding the brief notes of this content. Okay. Just right now in my PPTs, I am not giving in the short because a handwritten notes, giving the handwritten notes is I don't have right now that much time to give handwritten notes. So we'll go through soft copy, but whenever I will feel that I will give you the PDFs formats also. Okay, of my notes. Clear? Okay, we will stop here. And